breathe a little bit. For meditation, reflecting back when I was face deep to the pavement, or even when it was the barrel of a gun I was facing. None of that adds up to the failure of being complacent. How long can we sit around and say we going places? I had to learn to pick and make the moves that I was making. Now I'm focused, man, I'm locked in, putting all 10 to work. Tell me who your top 10. Y'all can have the game on lock, but I'm the lock.
Pam's Purpose, see you in the building. Thank you for joining in.
Sitting on the game, man, ain't not shit. When I get on the rock and roll, I swear that I not it.
Looking little J Iris. Little Solitude setting the tone.
But I made it without it. Now ironically I got all these bitches hounding. I'd probably be punching the air too if I doubt it. But instead I'm punching ones and twos. Call me Roy Jones, you know the hook coming too. Y'all want me to open up, I swear that shit coming soon. It's almost like I got the slipstream from behind though. Going for a dub, man, the whole damn wombo. Sometimes I like to sit and think, where did the time go? But it's no time for that. Only time to make the probable possible. I've never been stopped by an obstacle. Rain, sleet, or snow, man, I stick through the cold like it's a...
I do not own the rights to this music.
There is nothing wrong. We have taken control as to bring you this special show. But we will return it to you as soon as you are grooving.
It's been a long time, I shouldn't have left you without a strong rhyme to step to. Think of how many big shows that's left through. Time's up, I'm sorry I kept you.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? This Pops. I just wanted to pop in real quick. Hey, play on words. Pops and Pop Gems. You know, coming up, we got Pop's perspective.
Let's tell you what it is, tell you what it ain't. Giving you the real, we'll never do the same. Life is a gift, but sometimes we need guidance. Pop's perspective, always perfect timing. Call that alignment. Yeah, he gon' drop them gems. You know he really him. It's something about his confidence that lets you know he had the same.
You don't want to miss. Don't beat me there, beat me up.
All I want for Christmas is a new tripod. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is the time. Once again, I want to welcome each and every one of you to Pop's Gems, Pop's Perspective. And you see I'm in my Puerto Rican mode. I got my PR hat on representing Puerto Rico. Got my Pop's Gems pin. Yes, sir. Got another one coming on the way. But before we get to all of that, let me give my first and foremost shout out to God. Without him, there would be no me. Without him, there would be no purpose. There would be nothing. And without him, all things are possible. So I want to thank God, who is head of my life, too. Shout out to Exotic Pops. Exotic Pops, you see me. I see you. I see you. Even matching colors. How you do that? But Exotic Pops, Notorious True, and Left Hand Lacy, you want to support them. They're located in several places throughout Orlando, Orange Blossom Trail, County Road, 44 in Mount Dora, and 5311 East Colonial. That's 4400 County Road, excuse me. And so shout out to them. To the B&B crew. Shout out to the B&B crew, Nate Bella, Nate Nizzle, as they say, and Notorious True. Once again, they are here Tuesday nights, and they got always on point with, they don't have an artist, they got some great conversation, and so tune in with them. The Safe House 3, trifecta. The Safe House 3 on Spotify. Shout out to B-Mac, Lefty, _Global, and Peanut. Of course, you can find them on all the platforms, but on Spotify at 9 a.m. on Wednesday. Go back and listen to all of their shows. Great conversation. Of course, I couldn't do it without my son, CTP, Create the Panic, Change the Perspective, All Seasons. He's allseasons.shop. Just had a great selling out of a lot of new merch. You want to get with him. A lot of new merch that came out, and so he has a lot of stuff. Visit the website and support him. J Iris, you heard him playing. He got some new music he's getting ready to drop, so we stay tuned for that. and he's on local platforms as well. Nice little video too if you go check him out. That's JA1RUS and J Iris. Clear Minds, my friend Brooke Bishop. She's all your mental health needs is at Clear Minds. You can find her at clearminds.com. Everybody needs somebody to talk to. And of course, there's nothing wrong with getting some help from somebody that got a little insight and some pointers to help you get on your way. All right. And then, of course, to my favorite people, my most prestigious, the pinnacle of my excitement, the reason I get on here is all of my gemologists. That's you, and you, who thought it not robbery to tune in. If you're catching it live, or if you're catching it on the repeat, or if you go into YouTube, it's at Pops Gems on YouTube, and you can see every episode that has ever been done. Coming soon, website, so that those of you that want to blog and chat with Pops, you may have a situation come up, or you may want to pick my brain, or you may want to share some things with me. Pops is a sponge. I'm always learning, always soaking up knowledge. So again, to all of you, my gemologists, thank you so much for tuning in. And then, of course, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And so for the next 10 seconds, if you don't mind, with me, giving your energy, whatever your higher power is, we just want to send some positive energy to that one individual that's been on your mind. I hope everybody had a safe 4th of July and celebrated their festivities, but you got that one person that's been on your mind, and so we definitely want to send them some positive energy. Join with me, if you will. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, and thank you for that. Thank you for that. Now, tonight's topic. Tonight's a very, very interesting topic. It's a very, I don't know why I like to be so close to y'all, but it's a very interesting topic to me because it's a philosophy that I've tried to live by and uphold as I get older in life. Then I, when I get something that's going to be beneficial to me, something that's going to help me, then of course I'm going to take full advantage of it. So if you bear with me just a moment while I pull this up. Tonight's topic is called chess, not checkers. Life is chess, not checkers. And so we wanna talk about some things. Now, I associated this with several things. I know I should have been more prepared. Here we go. Okay. I associate this with a lot of things because in life, you have to, as I'm learning, that you there's two ways to go through life. Now, there's a lot of examples that have been given as far as, the tortoise and the hare and the ant and the grasshopper and this, that, and the other. But when the analogy that I like to use when I look at life and I look at things pertaining to that is, when you're dealing with checkers, and I looked at checkers, when you deal, let me lay my foundation here. The checkers, if I'm correct, you move one move at a time. That's it. You can only go one move at a time, unless, of course, you're jumping somebody. Okay? So one move at a time. And so it's and I want to kind of relate this to society and individualism, if I can say it that way. So when you're restricted to move one move at a time, it's kind of like the boundaries that have been set upon us by society. You notice that there's a lot of conditions, there's a lot of contingencies when it comes to dealing with people of color in their progression, their confined by background, education, and of course ethnicity or race. It plays a great part in how they can move. They don't have the freedom to move but one space at a time. According to, and I'm not blaming society. I'm just trying to show you a difference on how you can use this analogy to kind of help you get a different perspective. Number two, in the game of checkers, it's really you know, each piece is by itself, because there's no other piece that can really help you. Your objective is to get to the other side and try to become a king. So there's no help from others. There's other players on the team, but each has its own mission, and every move is for self. Kind of like the crab in the barrel type syndrome. There's a lot of us that are here. There's a lot of us that are on the team, but there's no team in us. We're on the team, but there's no team in us. Or we're in the team, but the team ain't in us. And so you got to understand that, you know, in this life of checkers, everybody's on their own mission to get to the other side. Also, it is limited movement, and you have to wait for those pieces that are in the back. They have to wait for the front pieces to move. So their growth is stagnated and contingent upon the other individual in front of them moving, because you can't jump over your own man. Crazy, isn't that the way that goes? And then the crossover. In order to get kinged, you got to go to the other side. And notice that there's no support from your side, but you try to get to the other side. And once you once you cross over, and get to the other side, then you'll be able to become a king and come back with the expectation to help others. So you got to fight your way there. Okay, you only get noticed by the other side. They trying to take you out. But if you make it and get to be a king, you're expected to come back and help others. Checkers is crazy. That game of life is like, wow, it's like you're battling all the time. No help. Ever been there? Am I talking to anybody? Sometimes life will get like that. It seems like you take one step forward, nobody's helping you. You got a lot of people around you. Nobody's really trying to help you get where you need to be. You know, everybody's worried about themselves, but yet when you make it, they expect for you to reach out and help them. You a king now, you know, you made it now, come back and help others. Checkers is a crazy game. But I said that life is chess, not checkers. How is that? I'm glad you asked. We've been given, each one of us, the innate ability to process information. Some of us process it better than others. Some of us have a deeper desire to succeed, more of a, like they say, eye of the tiger, a hunger for success, be it motivated by being poor all your life, or doing without. And when I mean poor, I don't just mean money-wise. Doing without and deciding in your mind, you come to a point that, you know what, I'm going to do, this is not for me. I got to do better than this. And I know that I'm going to do better than this. I'm capable of better than this. When you reach that point, when you get to the point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of where you're at, and you understand that in you lies the ability to change your situation, it will spark a fire in you. Now, what you do with that fire, it depends on how it progresses you. Fire, contained, properly used, can create heat. It's an energy source. Not contained, it can do damage. It can burn things down. So, what do you have to do? You have to control that desire to want to excel. And the way you control that is you contain that and funnel that energy to where you want it to go. Synonymous to like a blowtorch, where you have an aim, you have a purpose, a laser, anything that has a direct focus. So when it comes to the contrast between checkers and chess, I said to myself, now chess is a different form of lifestyle. Chess enables and inhabits that desire to want to get ahead. Why? Because in chess, you must be moves ahead of your opponent, which is life. Life is your opponent. So in other words, you have to see what it is that you want. Kind of like what BMF said, see it, touch it, obtain it kind of scenario. You have to plan ahead. You have to see what it is, and when you plan it, don't just move to be moving. Don't just be seen. Don't be out there to be seen. Be out there with a purpose. There's a difference between acting and reacting. Acting, you're setting the tone. Reacting, you're responding to the tone that's been set. Come on, somebody. Acting is when you set the tone, like a thermostat. You set the temperature. Reacting is like a thermometer. You read the temperature of the room and report what's read in the room. But when you have this plan, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna sit down with an ideology of what it is that you want to accomplish. What is your goal? Okay, what is your goal? In chess, well, let me finish. The third point would be to see your attack. How you got to see in your mind how you're going to accomplish what it is that you set out to do. In other words, what channels do I have to take? What moves do I have to make? What action do I have to set into rotation for me to get from point A to point B? Because point B is really where I want to be. So what do I got to do to get to point B from point A? Now, that's like chess. Your objective is, first and foremost, to protect your king. Secondly, attack your enemy and destroy his king. Okay, and that's where the contrast comes in and how you look at this, because in this format, the opponent is going to be everyday life that tries to conquer you, channel you, and defeat you. And so with these ideas that I have, that if you can implement them into your everyday life, you will be a little bit more successful. I believe it ain't for everybody. You know, if it's good for you, if good to you, then fine. If not, thank you for tuning in. I'll say something else next week. But nevertheless, when you get ready to play the game of chess, you look at the moves that you have. Now, chess is different from checkers because with chess, you have more abilities available to you to accomplish your task. You have more arsenal. You have more weaponry. Remember I told you in checkers is one piece, one at a time. You can't use nobody else. But in chess, it's set up a little different. In chess, you have certain pieces that are there to do certain things to help you to accomplish your mission. Now, I thought I was going to be able to do this in a one series thing, but it's probably going to break it down, because what I want to do, and it's just important to me, is to break down each position or each purpose of each piece on the chessboard and assimilate it or associate it to something in your everyday life to get those wheels turning. You want to have things that leave you going, and make you think. You don't want to, you want to leave something that's going to make you dig, because then you're going to want to discover, and when you discover, you're going to get more curious, and you're going to start applying these practices, and then you're going to have a successful life. Trust me, I'm applying them myself. So, set a plan. Don't just be moving to be moving. In chess, you have certain pieces. You got to know what your pieces can do. So, I don't know, of those of you who play chess, or if you don't, but in chess, they got a little piece. It's the little piece that sits in front. It's called a pawn. It's the weakest and most numerous piece. Each player starts with 8 pawns. Now, the purpose is to clog up the middle, to clog up the moves of your opponent. So when I thought about that, I thought about the pawn, saying, okay, that's eliminating, because it's the weakest piece, that's eliminating your weaknesses to your opponents. And how can you eliminate your weaknesses? Well, everybody got them, but everybody don't need to know what yours are. Too many times we wear our feelings on our sleeve, and what I mean by that is people don't know what buttons to push unless you show them which button to push. You're supposed to act, not react. If you react to everything that people say and do, they're going to know what buttons to push. So when they want to get you mad, they'll push that button. When they want to make you sad, they'll push that button. Depending on what they want to get out of you, it's like a vending machine. And so they start pushing your buttons. Well, if you don't react to everything, again, this is an action, not a reaction. Okay, you don't want to react to everything. So what? They're looking at you crazy. You don't know what's going on in that person's mind. But are you going to give them that much control over you that a look is going to change your whole demeanor and spoil your whole day? I think not. People are crazy. People are strange. Everybody got their own agenda. You can't take on other people's problems. It'll drive you batty. You got to stay focused. Now, my mother used to tell me all the time, bless her soul, you can't stop somebody from talking about you, but you can stop them from messing with you, putting their hands on you. So sometimes, sometimes what you need to do is don't react to everything. Hear it, store it, lock it down, but don't react to everything, because you're going to need that later on when you go to make an evaluation. You got to remember, in every life there's a lesson, and in every lesson you got to study, and it'll give you the answers. So if you're looking to trust somebody with your life, then you record their actions. And when it comes time to fill that position, if any of their actions are contrary to what you're looking for in that position to be filled, you know that they're writing their own resume. People only do to you what you allow them to do. And so if you do something and you get that reaction, then now you know that's how they're moving, that's how they live it. So with dealing with pawns, you got to clog up the middle. In other words, you can't let the enemy see your weaknesses. Okay. Also, you can't, with pawns are quick to be taken because they can only move one square at a time in the game of chess. Okay. They can capture left or right, but they can only move forward. They can't move diagonally, and they usually considered the weakest pieces because of their limited movement and capturability. But what it is you're confusing the enemy with that. You're confusing the things that are coming against you. You're willing to say, okay, I'm not gonna worry about that. You may have done me bad over here, but I'm gonna eat that for the betterment. I'll take that. I'll take that L. Because in order to have victories, you gotta have losses. There's no success without failure. Because a failure is just an opportunity to try again and not do the same thing. I'll say that one more time. Failure, okay, is success is just, with failure, is knowing how to do things and not do the same thing. When you fail, you learn from that. Okay, I failed because I didn't put enough gas in the car, so I couldn't drive that far. My failure was I ran out of gas. So next time I know to put more gas. Simple analogy. Makes sense? All right. So with pawns, it's you want to put them out there, and you can't be so concerned about getting your feelings hurt. You can't be so concerned about people stabbing you in the back. You can't be so concerned about people talking about your name. They're going to do that. If you allow them to know that it affects you, now they have a grip on you. Now they have a vice. I hope that makes some sense to somebody. Okay? So, pawns can also be very valuable. Okay? Because when you have that kind of restraint, your tolerance and your steadfastness gives people a mystique about you, and that mystique kind of turns into respect. I don't know why I'm going there, but let me say it this way. When you can't get to somebody, it's kind of like, man, don't nothing, leave him alone. He crazy. Don't nothing bother him. Something wrong with him. He don't respond normally, and it gives a kind of what they call a reverence type of fear. Okay, so if you could control your emotions and not react, then you'll be a lot better off. Let people act, you don't react. Remember, you're the thermostat. You're setting the temperature in the room. You're telling them how to treat you. So if you want them to treat you with respect, don't respond to disrespect. Because when they want your attention, they're going to disrespect. Oh, come on. I'm trying to make it plain. It's not what they call you, it's what you respond to. It's not what they call you, because people they talked about Jesus. They talked about all of the religious prophets and what have you. Okay? But what did they respond to? It's how you respond. People going to say what they will and may, but it's how you respond. So it's very important that you don't wear your feelings on the sleeve, and you keep your guard your heart and guard your response. All right. So pawns. All right. Also in chess, there's even with that you always have to have even with that you always have to have a plan B. And a plan B means is you always have to be ready for a counterattack. So that being said, let me jump back. So when you got your pawns in here, your pawns are set out there to kind of confuse the enemy, to confuse, it's not exposing your strategy. It's a preparation to your attack. So you are strategically lining up your pawns because you're getting ready to bring out your next defense. All right. And your next defense is, like I told you, you have other pieces on the board that can help you. Okay. But in order for that to happen, you got to get your feelings out the way. In order for your secondary line of defense to come out, you got to move those pawns. You got to move those feelings. You got to strengthen them and move them out. And then hold them at bay, which means don't let people see your reactions or your key points so that you could bring out your attack. Kind of like a smile in their face. You know they don't like you. You know they talk about you, but you just smile in their face. It confuses them. They don't know how to act. They're like, wait a minute. Then they start feeling guilty about themselves, or they should. But anyway, so when you're doing that, and then you plan to come out with, for example, in the game of chess, they have what they call a knight, which is like the horse head. Okay, so that can move in an L shape, 2 and 1, either direction. It is very powerful because it's the only piece that can jump over other pieces, and it can trap up a great portion of the board, which means that when you post up with the knight, the outer attack can only get so close to you without it being in danger of getting taken by the horse. So what does that mean? That means that your next move, once you get your feelings out the way, your next move needs to be a powerful move, but a move of protection, but a move of showing that you are taking a stand. For example, you've been trying to do something for years and years and years, whatever, and you finally get all the excuses out the way. You get all the weaknesses, all the whatever's out the way, and now you're ready to make a move. You'll know when you're serious, when you're really, really serious. And it can be anything. It could be, health. It could be finances. It could be, things that when you're really ready to do something, you're going to take a bold move. If you want to save money, you'll stop wasting money on stuff that freezer full of food, but you want to eat out. Example. You know what I'm saying? 39 pairs of shoes in the closet. Shoes you ain't even worn before. You steady shopping. When you're serious about meeting a financial goal, you're going to cut out all of that extra expense. You're going to take a bold move. Okay, you're going to make a bold move, and you're going to take a stand. That stand means that whenever you take a stand to do something, opposition is always going to rise. You try to lose weight, people invite you to lunch. You try to stop smoking cigarettes, people buy you a pack. You try to stop drinking, they want to take you to the club. Just different case scenarios. So expect the opposition. Okay? Always be ready for a counterattack. So when you make that stand with that horse, when you position him, know which way he can go and where his attack strengths are. So that's why you got to know what you can do with what you have. If it's money that you're using, how far can your money take you? Where can your money cover? How can you get more money from the money that you're spending? See what I'm saying? You got to use each tool. And again, going back to Number one, you got to plan your work. You got to say, okay, if I do this, what's going to happen? And how am I going to be prepared to cover this, and this? I know I said a lot. I know I was going to talk till 9 o'clock, but there's a lot of information that I want to go over. And so I'm not going to give you too much more tonight. Just finish up with part 2, plan B. Always be ready for a counterattack. So in other words, watch your moves, because you could plan to go to the beach and it start raining. Now you got to make plan B. Always have a plan B. Don't get caught without a counterattack. And it's okay. It's okay to regroup. It's okay to regroup. If every now and again, you'll make a move, you'll make a power move, and shout out to Notorious Truth. You'll make a power move, and then he'll come an attack, a counterattack, and in your counterattack, you have to go to the defensive. Case in point, you make a move with your rook or your knight, whatever you want to call it, and you post up because you're trying to get one of his pieces or one of the opponent's pieces, or you're trying to accomplish something. Well, that falls through, okay? And you remember I told you it's for defense as well as attack. Your moves have to be both offensive and defensive. They have to be offensive to strike out at what you want. They have to be defensive to protect what you have. Never expose yourself where you're left flat busted. That means you left the back door open. You lost what you was going to invest, and you also lost what you had. Never allow that to happen, and the way you prevent that from happening is to follow the plan. Always protect your back. When you make a move, know the consequences of that move all the way around, 360. And then on top of that, life is complicated. That's why people frown and stay away from chess, because chess is a complex game. You got to be able to say, okay, I'm going to make this move, and when I make that move, if that comes here, I'm going to move over there. If that happens over there, I'm going to move over there. If that happens, I'm going to move over here. And if that happens, I have to move back. You got to do that in life, because it protects you. If I'm going to put this money over here, but if that fall through, I got this backup money over here. And if that don't come through, I got that other money that I put up. And worst case scenario, I could just go to over here. You got to have it like that. And you don't have to have a big abundance. You just got to have options. When you tie your hands, you know what I'm saying? It's like when I tell them, when you're raising kids, you give them an option. And in sales uses this technique all the time. It's called limited availability. What does that mean? If somebody tells you they're thirsty and you say, okay, I got water and I got milk, you limited their availability. They can either have the water or they can have the milk. But if you say, what do you want to drink? You open up the spectrum for them to ask for whatever they want. You got to limit people's availability to you. You say, okay, I'm going to do this or this. Learn how to play on lockdown, and man, them other brothers spanked me and taught me so much, man. It's the working mind, and I'm not going to say that people don't play chess, don't have a working mind, but the working mind, there's things that I see people play 3-level chess and all that, speed chess and all of that. But what I'm saying is, in life, you have to treat life like it's a game of chess under this pretense. You got to be, when you make a move, you got to be prepared for it to fail. How many people tell you that? That sounds crazy. No, it don't, because you're not hoping it'll fail. You're not expecting it for it to fail. You're not wishing and all of that. None of that. But you're prepared if it does fail, so that you're not caught looking on. Okay, that didn't work. No biggie. I got this. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make this move over here. No problem. Now, again, remember I told you you're gonna take some L's, but it's better to take an L because you had no other option than to take an L because you didn't exhaust all your options. See what I'm saying? So, when it comes to your rook or your knight, rather, your knight can move in different ways. The only piece that the only piece that can jump over other pieces, and the only piece that takes up so much of the board in its circumference. Strongest move. All right, and then, and I said this, but I'll say it in this format because I'm kind of jumping out. Integrity, and I believe if I'm saying this right is, I want to say, what is it? Protect your integrity, because that's who you are, or your character, because that's who people think you are. But it's very important that when you go through life, you maintain a level of self-respect and do not allow others to breach that. And I'm not saying go out and get a gun and shoot everybody to look at you crazy. What I'm saying is protect your kingship. And the way you protect your kingship in chess, your ultimate goal is to protect your king, defensive, and to conquer offensively. So in protecting your kingship, know that every move has a meaning. And what I mean by that is, how is this move going to affect me overall? How is this move going to add or take away from what I'm trying to accomplish in the future? It has to be that minute. Let me give you a case in point. How is eating this cheeseburger going to affect my diet later? You're going to have to pay for it. Trust me, I'm paying now for all the stuff I ate when I was young and I first got hurt and all of that stuff. Okay? But how is this action going? Thank you, Quinny the Pooh. Protect your integrity. How is this action going to, and not so much affect the way people look at you, because people are going to look at you any way they want to, but is it true or not? Is what they're saying, what they're seeing? People going to lie. I told you that. You're always under attack. People going to say everything they can about you. But is it true? And that's why you got to protect your kingship. Every move you make, people are watching, and that's how they're going to treat you. What you're doing is you're training them on how to treat you. And I'm guilty of this myself. We tend to put ourselves down. Jokingly. But don't you understand that what you speak out into the air has to go somewhere? And it has to, it joins up with like-mindedness, and it can either grow to be good or bad. You don't want to put that kind of negative energy out in the air. Don't speak bad of yourself. There's enough people speaking bad about you. News shock, news flash. You don't need to add to it. Moves have meaning. How you portray yourself. And we talked about this with Am I My Brother's Keeper? You know, how you carry yourself, people are watching. Back to the pawns, in protecting your kingship, never expose your weaknesses. Okay? And unfortunately, you can have an A1 from day one, but before they was A1, they was somewhere. And what I mean to say about this, and you can ask this, 2 of my kids are in the chat right now. What I tell y'all, trust who? Nobody. I don't trust my mama, and I buried her. I don't trust me, because I know there's things that I said I wouldn't do that I've done, and things that I said I would do that I didn't do. So you can't even trust yourself. So what I mean by that is you can't expose your weaknesses to everybody. You got to keep your plans, because if you tell everybody everything, don't be surprised if they ain't biting. You gave them the blueprint. They copied me. No, nigga, you gave them the blueprint. You told them. They just moved quick and got it done. Or did it better. Now you standing there. Are you mad because they did it? Or you mad because they did it better than you? Sips tea. Water between. You can't get mad for people using what you gave them against you. You gave it to them. In the game of chess, you got to be careful with every move, because Truth's in the chat. He'll tell you. You slip up, take your hand off of it, you expose your queen. Up. She gone. Gone. Nothing you can do. Gone. Because you jumping out there looking for something else, wasn't careful, wasn't thinking. Jumped out there because you thought something looked good, didn't rehearse it. Next thing you know, it's gone. And let me tell you something. People take chess very seriously. You take your hand off the piece, that's it, bruh. You touch it, you move it. There's all kind of stuff. And in life, you can't afford to be out here second guessing, haphazarding. Yes, it might be meticulous. It might be, oh, you're scared, or oh, you're gonna no. And I know that you got to take chances in life. But shoot, take chance when you land on chance. That's Monopoly. Strategically plan to go around the board. If you happen to land on a chance, that's one thing. But have a plan. Don't just get in the boat on the sea with a sail and no motor. Wherever the waves take us. And that's what we do with our life. And we expect for the waves of the ocean to move us where we're supposed to be. We expect the current of life to carry us. Go to school, get a job, get a house, get married, retire. But is it what you wanted? Did you use and exhaust every bit of arsenal? Some of us are sitting on so much talent. Some of us are sitting on so much prosperity, blessings within you. And I'm not trying to preach God. I'm talking about prosperity and abundance of talents. Sing, draw, dance, jump up and down, business minded. If you could run a trap, you could run a business. Talk to me, somebody. And I'm not putting I ain't throwing nobody under the bus. I'm just saying, business. But you got to believe in it first and foremost. You got to align your army. Then the other thing is you got to keep your head on a swivel. Ain't no sleeping. Ain't no rest for the weary. There is no rest for the weary. In this, don't you know, they say that geniuses only took naps. 2 hours, 3 hours here, 3 hours there, and they was up, they was moving. Because don't nothing come to a sleeper but a dream. Time wasted. You only allotted so much time. 24 hours in a day, you sleeping 8 to 10 of them. That cuts you down to what? 16 or 14. Then you're working 8. That leaves you 6. You got to go to by the time you add up all the little stuff that you do commuting, you have no time to progress. You're just existing. You're not progressing. There's a difference. I don't want to just exist in life and go through the motions and let people know that I was here. I want to make a mark and say, yeah, I remember him. I see what he did. I applied those principles. It got me where I wanted to be quicker so I could take over more. And then I taught other people how to do it. That's where my joy comes from. Reason I do all this, Pops Jams, it's just I just want to help people. Not make the mistakes I made. Get where, give you. If I learn how to get a fish, I'm gonna teach you how to fish. Why? Then you won't be asking for my fish. Number one. Number two, you know how to go get your own fish. And I might need a fish one day. But you got to keep your head on a swivel. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying stay awake and drink no-dos and coffee all day. What I'm saying is, be awake to your surroundings. Don't let things lull you to sleep. You can be asleep with your eyes wide open. Women can lull you to sleep with a Jezebel spirit. Business people can lull you to sleep with their I don't want to say conniving, but with their convincing ways. Don't you understand that they study emotions? So it all goes back to psychological. What buttons to push, what to say this, what to say that. There is a formula on how to get people to buy stuff from you. You and I use it every day, but until it's exposed to you and you understand the formula, you won't know that you're using the formula. It's smart. It's a gift. It's a talent. But it's not confined to just anybody. Anybody can harness this. Some things you have to work harder at, but that's okay. Not everybody can write or shoot the ball with their right hand and left hand. You got to work at it. Whatever you want. Hey, chomp. That's my grandbaby. Whatever you want, you have to study, and I'm glad that too. That's I'm glad my grandbaby's in there. And then and I told my kids all the time, and they're in the chat, don't be like me, be better than me. You should want to see the people coming up behind you doubly equipped with what you know and then what they know, because what is GPS for? It's to pave the way so other people can follow the path. It wasn't easy getting all them roads, but they did it to help other people. What you're going through in life, don't get so caught up in it that it's to the point where, you're, oh, woe is me. It's happening for a reason. Figure it out. Sit down. Write a plan. Get it together. And then go find somebody in your lifestyle that can watch you, that's watching you, see. When I say go find them, I don't mean go looking for them. Live a life that's going to draw people. They're going to look at you and be like, damn, bro, how you? Hey, just what I did. I mean, and just the way we carry ourselves, it's time to move from checkers, one piece at a time, trying to sell out to become a king. Then you have to go back and fight your way back to try to get to your people and help them become kings. It's time to get into the chess ship. And in that, there's some other things I'm going to talk to. I'll probably come back next week and do a part 2 if I don't have my special guest after that. If I have my special guest next week, then the week after I'm going to come back. But I'm going to wrap it up a little bit early. I'm going to open up the comments. If anybody has anything, let me just say this. Keep your head on a swivel. And then the way you attain your kingdom, your own kingdom, is by conquering your opponents. So whatever your obstacles are to ascertain your goal, those are your opponents. Okay? And then you don't want to just jump over them like in checkers. In checkers, you jump over them to take the pieces. Am I right? Somebody put 100 in the chat if I'm right. In checkers, you jump over to take the piece. You don't want to jump over nobody. You want to take them out. In chess, you take them off the board. You step right to them and take them off the board. And so your opponent is whatever it is going to come against you, okay? Whatever is going to come against you to try to stop you from accomplishing your goal, you don't want to just hinder them. You don't want to just put them at bay. You want to take them completely out. In other words, you want them to have no more access in that avenue to come at you. And 90% of the time, the reason that people try us is because we didn't nip it in the bud the first time. It's okay to set a boundary. Because if you're setting a boundary and it's not being respected, it's being disrespected, then you're setting the boundary for the right reason. If you set a boundary and it's respected, it's kind of like you've gained a friend. But if it's disrespected, you've gained an enemy. Because that means that they don't care enough about you to respect the parameters that you have set. If they really care and they say, okay, well, I can only do so much, that's cool, but I care enough about you, I'm interested enough in being part of your life that I'll wait until you either extend those boundaries or I'll know my role and I'll be satisfied with what I have. And if that's not enough, then I'll move on. But just because you're not happy with something don't mean that you need to force yourself upon other people, because it's going to build a negative response. And that's why people fall out, because boundaries are trespassed and transgressed. Now you're forcing my hand. Why you do all that? Because I asked you not to do that. So I didn't react, I acted. And when I acted, you reacted, so I had to act again. I keep telling you, it's not a reaction in life. You need to act. You need to set the standard. Whatever doesn't set the standard is a reaction. Now you got to act again. Okay, I set this standard. You're not going to call me out my name. Now you call me out my name. That was the reaction to my standard that I set, the action that I made. So now I got to do another action. I got to A, remove myself from the situation, or B, tolerate the disrespect. Too many of us, for the sake of, in sales, is a thing called fear of loss and hope of gain. Too many of us want to like, so we won't cut them off. Too many people want to say they're their friends, so they'll tolerate bull. Try not to curse. But you're hurting yourself. So what? They don't mean you no good, no way. They're not helping you, no way. They don't mean nothing for you, no way. They're disrespectful for you. Why you keep begging them to be around? You making yourself, I'm just talking. But, again, how people treat you is how you set yourself up and how you move. And every move has meaning. Every move has purpose, and you ought to be ready to accomplish the goals that you set, and know the in this arsenal I want to deal with the next show. I want to deal with know the people or the weapons that you have around you, because there's some pieces on that board. We ain't even got to the queen, the bishop yet, or the rook. Okay, but there's some people that are around you that it's like you kind of have to apply for the position, and if they don't meet all the qualifications, they're taking up the wrong spot. You need to get rid of them. Because when you describe, you ever been on a job and they give you the directive, the objective, and your purpose and your conditions, what they expect out of you? That's how we should be when we put people in our life. This is your position. This is what I expect out of you. If you can't meet those qualifications, then I'm sorry, I'm going to have to what? Let you go. Cut them loose or live a miserable life. Don't get mad. Listen, don't get mad because you got wet. You was standing in the rain, dummy. Come in out the rain. I'm just talking. But anyway, yes, strategic mindset, chestnut checkers. They say a person who thinks a lot has a genius mind, second guesses everything. I don't like a yes man. Anything, yes, you want to do this? Yes. Or woman. What do you want to do? Whatever you want to do. Like in Coming to America. What do you like? Whatever you like. Come on, have some... have some you-ness about you. Give me something to dissect, to learn, to intellect, and then that way, question everything. For real, you got to question everything. Is water wet? Think about it. Is water wet? How does water get wet? Water is wet. Is water wet? Or do you get wet with water? Things that make you go, But in life, are they really my friend? What's my definition of friend? Do they really fit that category of what my expectations are? And if not, have I conveyed that to them and let them know, just like they pull you to the side, hey there, buddy, we won't talk to you. You're doing really well. You improve. You just got a couple areas we won't talk to you about. You just improve right here. This is an assessment. I'm going to check back with you. Going to do a follow-up, see how you're doing in them areas. You got to, because if you don't police your own yard, people going to come in there and shit on you. Trust. If you don't police your own yard, don't get mad what's going on. If you don't take care of your house and your affairs, don't get mad. I'm telling you. And don't be afraid to cut people off. And know the people that you got around you. What is their purpose for my life? And not that everybody, owes you anything like that, but, you shouldn't ask yourself, have you ever asked yourself, why do they only call me when this happens? Ding, 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 flag, hello. But no, hey, they called me. Hello. Yeah, I called you 3 times last week. You must have been busy. Well, what's going on? Come on, man. Stop doing that to yourself. Chess, not checkers. This your boy Pops. It's been a blast. I know we're a little early, but I just wanted to leave you those things to think about. Next week we're going to come back. We got a special guest, and if we do not come back with that, we're going to swing the spin the block one more time, and we're going to come and we're going to talk about the pieces on the board and the weapons in your warfare. All right. Don't forget. At Pops Gems on YouTube.
Performing on the biggest stage in the world was just one step.
Sorry. Don't forget, tomorrow night, B&B crew, Notorious True in the building. Stop in on them. Wednesday, I don't know if they're off of hiatus, but the Safe House 3. Seasons in the building. Seasons, I wanted you to come on and tell everybody. Are you still in the chat? Hello? Seasons, are you there? Come in, Seasons. Seasons, I guess not. But Seasons, all seasons, .shop. Got some crazy apparel, trend setting. So make sure you follow him. Safe House 3 on Spotify. Jay Iris coming out with some new music. Stay tuned, like I mentioned before. Pops Gems. I have a behind the scenes super duper fan / right hand / I ain't gonna tell you too much, but they created a website for Pops Gems, so you'll be able to have a website and get on there and blog and talk junk and things of that nature. But we're also moving to some more apparel and some more pins. Got a lot of stuff coming up for the rest of 2025. This your boy Pops. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, thinking it not robbery. Think about life, chess, not checkers. Think about the moves that you're making. Are they pushing you towards your goal? Are the people around you helping you meet your goal? Are they defending your goal? Are they laughing and scowling and talking about you? Think about it. Take some time. After all, it's your life. Peace. I'm out.